Hi, this is Greg Ryan from Greg Ryan Fitness Global. Today I want to talk to you about a great book that I wrote about 10 years ago called Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer. And I want to speak to the personal trainers audience today on the way that I have made $1 million by the time I was 27 years old. I was nothing fancy. I didn't do anything complicated. Growing up, I was taught to do things just a little bit different than what most people do. I was raised on a farm in the lower portion of Michigan, and we were taught to work hard. We were taught to work smart. And I remember one day my father had a best friend named Bill, and Bill had a septic tank company, and that was probably one of the dirtiest jobs, smelliest jobs that anyone could ever do. And because of that, not many people wanted to do that, but it was very lucrative financially. And him and my father would go out a couple days a week and pump septic tanks and make a killing when it came to money because nobody else wanted to do it. And that was the first thing that I learned from my father was in business. It was to do things that other people did not want to do. And in turn, your market share would be higher. And so as I got into the personal training business, some 32 years now, I started doing things just a little bit different than what everybody else did. And I also had a niche or a knack, I should say, that to see what trends were happening. And over a period of time, I developed a system that other trainers did not have. And in turn, I was able to make more money in less time. My retention span was higher than anybody's in the countries. And it became very lucrative for me. And so what I want to speak to the trainers of today, they come out and they think that this business is very glamorous. And it's not. And so I want to talk about one of the first chapters in the book, Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer, how I made my first $1 million as a fitness trainer. I want to talk about the first chapter of this book, and it talks about treating this industry as a business. And I find over the years that every trainer that I counsel and talk to, that's the first thing that I want to tell them is if you want to be in this business and you want this to be lucrative and you want this to be long term, then the first thing you need to do is you need to treat this as a business. And I will guarantee you that 90% of the trainers out there think that they treat this like the personal training as a business, but they do not. And why do I say that? I say that because your actions speak louder than your words. And a lot of the trainers think this is a fly-by-night, glamorous business, and it's not. It's hard work. And if you want to be a successful personal trainer, you're going to have to do things that other trainers are not willing to do. And that's my first thing, is to talk a little bit about the business side of the training business. If you don't treat it as a business, your clients will not treat it as a business, and they will not take you serious. Let me give you an example. About a couple months ago, a trainer came into my office, and I charge a lot of money for my counseling, hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour I charge for advice. And this trainer who had been in the training business for a couple of years came to me, and we sat down and we talked a little bit, and by the end of the hour, there was an exchange of words, and I asked him for the check, and he expressed that he really didn't learn anything, and in other words, he was really not listening. People hear what they want to hear. So I encouraged him that I would give him one more piece of advice for the exchange of the hundreds of dollars that I require for my services. And this is what I said to him. I said, basically tuck in your shirt. And he looks at me like, what do you mean? And I said, exactly. Thank you for the hundreds of dollars. You'll probably never be successful in the training business. And what I was trying to get across to him was not the fact that you have to have your shirt tucked in every single time. This business does not cater to that, when you're wearing your workout clothes and everything. But it was the principle behind it. And the principle behind it was treat this as a business. Financially, professionally, if you don't treat it like a business and you don't act like it's a business and you don't give the perception of the business and your brand is not treated like a business, you will not succeed as a fitness trainer, period. And so you can do all the other stuff and you can come up with all these trends of everything that the training business is coming up with now, all the pieces of equipment, everything. But if you do not treat this as a business emotionally, you will not be successful as a personal trainer. And one of the things I wrote in this book, Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer, was what I call, or what the military calls, lifers. And lifers are people that are in the military for life, obviously. And they have this attitude, which is in part 1, chapter 2 of the book, and it's about attitude. And lifers in the military have this attitude of what I call sold out. They're sold out to their profession. And the only way that you're going to be successful as a fitness trainer is to have the attitude that I am sold out to my profession. It's going to get hard. It's going to get challenging. The economy is going to change. People are going to leave you. People are going to get sick. People are going to go to other trainers, what have you. But the attitude that you must have to be successful as a fitness trainer is to have a sold-out attitude, that you have made a decision from day one that this is going to be your career in some form or another. This is going to be your profession. You are going to learn from other people. You are going to make some mistakes, but you're going to bounce back. If you have a sold-out attitude, then everything else kind of takes care of itself. You have to be all in. And as the Aztecs call it, they spell it O-L-L-I-N. But you have to be all in right from the start, emotionally, physically, financially in some cases. There's an old saying that says, goals change, decisions do not. And as you continue your fitness career, you will make some quality decisions that you can't turn back on. I remember at 17 years old, I made a decision that nobody was going to tell me how much I was worth, and I was going to be in business for myself, and no gym was going to tell me how much my hourly rate would be. So I made a quality decision. Now, over the years of doing this, some of my goals have changed, but they have been flexible. I call it flexible rigidity. And so your decisions will stay the same, but your goals might be a little different. So whether you're part-time in this or full-time in this, I would really highly encourage you that right from the beginning, in order for you to be a successful fitness trainer, you have to have a sold-out attitude with that. Now, let's talk a little bit as we finish up this little segment on how to become a successful trainer. I want to talk a little bit about respecting the profession. This is a profession, and in most cases, there's so many trainers out there, whether it's a certification, whether it's just that people just don't know. There are a lot of trainers out there that probably should decide to do a different profession. But one of the things that you want is you want to have some education underneath your belt as well as life experiences. And one thing that I wrote in this one little chapter that I wrote in the beginning of Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer is you either have to love this or you need to leave it. It really comes down to that. And so here's a little excerpt that I wrote in the book. It says, before I even decided to have a career in fitness, I made a promise to myself to never do something I didn't love. Little did I know that having that sort of attitude would get me through some very tough times. My advice is to you, if you don't love it, then leave it. It's not worth it. In the beginning, this attitude will get you through the tough times because money will be scarce at times. If you become a trainer for just a job, you will not survive. You need to respect it. One of the biggest reasons the fitness profession as a whole is where it is today is because most trainers do not respect it. How can you believe in what you do if deep down you don't even think much of it? How will your business grow if you don't treat it respectfully? You are in business, will not reach full potential if you don't fear it in some way. Respect it or leave it. So that's my tips today from my book, Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer, how I made my first $1 million as a fitness trainer by the time I was in my late 20s, is because, first of all, I made a decision. Second of all, I was sold out. Third of all, I respected it. And so that's my tip for the day. This is Greg Ryan from Greg Ryan Fitness Coaching. Come see me if you have any questions or concerns about my what I do and my training philosophies. You can email me at gregryanfitness@yahoo.com. Have a great day.